Hey everybody, welcome to How to Navigate the Functions and Graphs module. Today we're going to be talking about the items that you're going to be completing in this module, as well as getting into some details about the assignments you're going to be submitting. So as always, we're going to go to the Towson Gold navigation menu to read about what we are going to be doing in this module. I'm not going to read to you, but I'm going to tell you some things. We're going to be going over key vocab, talking about domain and range of a function. We're going to be talking about the slope of a function, whether it's increasing, decreasing, or neither as well. Talking about how to do transformations with functions, composition of functions, and then inverse of functions we're going to be discussing as well. Lots of functions, okay? But what is a function? What the function, okay? What are we talking about? You're going to find out. You're going to learn today. All right, so there are 7 lessons in this module. Lots of items. Can be overwhelming, I'm not going to lie, but it's all about pacing yourself. And I have tried to do my best about helping you pace yourself, which we'll take a look at in a second. Just like always, each of the lessons has a reading, video lecture, and my math lab assignments. Be sure that you are taking notes, especially in this module, about the video lectures. This is the unit or module, if you will, that we really begin to pump up the rigor. We really begin to talk about college algebra concepts. And so this may be new learning for some of us, and we need to make sure that we're treating it in a way that will help us remember information as we're going and diving into completing assignments. So there are some things that you're going to be submitting. My math lab assignments, you're going to be submitting a functions performance task, a functions KWL, and then your second test will all be completed at the end of this module. One thing I want to remind you of is the syllabus has a schedule at the end of it, and the Google Calendar that's posted on Blackboard. These are going to be tools for you, especially in this module, because as I said, there's 7 lessons. It can be very overwhelming if you're not pacing yourself. Sure, you can move ahead, work at your own pace, but don't feel like you have to do all 7 modules in this week. You're going to notice that this module is really only 3 weeks long, but it makes it a week longer because of the spring break is in there. So you're going to notice it's 3 lessons, 3 more lessons, 1 lesson in the test. So that's kind of how the 7 modules are divided up. Just wanted to tell you that so that way you're not feeling as overwhelmed when you get exposed to all of this at one time. All right. So all of the lessons, like I said, all pretty much are the same. I'm going to talk about the functions KWL. And we're going to dive into that because I think you're familiar with how the lessons are going by now. So, first thing I want to say about this is by no means meant to feel like a busy assignment or an assignment that is just there because I'm trying to make you spend time on doing things for this course. Everything that we do has value behind it and there's a purpose. And I want to just put that out there that this assignment has value, and the value is to make you dissect information from the readings that are in the videos that are from this module. That's going to be important as you move on throughout this course. I wanted to incorporate an assignment that reassured me and yourself that you were looking at the right things and you were understanding the right concepts in order to do well on future tests, assignments, and so forth. So that's why this assignment was created, okay? So one thing to take note of, a KWL stands for what you know, what you want to learn, and what you learned. And so one of the things I'm going to be looking for here is that you're using key vocabulary, which shouldn't be too hard because you'll see it all in the readings and then you'll hear it in the video. But that's one of the things I'm looking for. Before you do any readings, before you watch any of the videos, you're going to want to fill out the K, what you know, and what you want to learn before you do anything else, because otherwise, if you begin to read and you begin to watch videos, you may know stuff already going in, but you may confuse it with what you've learned. or you may be able to not add as much stuff to what you learned because it's all blending together, if that makes sense, because you didn't do the K and the W before you started diving into the content. So please make sure that you do the K and the W before you do the L, and you read and you watch the videos after you do the K and the W. All right, I'll shut up now. We're going to look at how to do the submission instructions a little bit more detailed than what's listed here, because it can be a little bit confusing. We're going to do Google Slides, and the reason why it can be confusing is I've provided you a template. You don't have to use the template, but a lot of people do use the template, and I want to make sure you know how to do it. So there's a tiny URL. If you're using a tablet, if you click on the URL, it's going to bring you to this. If it doesn't bring you to this screen, what's going to happen is it's just going to be a view-only screen if you're using a tablet, and you're going to have to go to your App Store and download the Google Slides app. It's free, so you don't have to worry about paying for it. But if you're using a tablet or your phone, you're going to have to make sure you have that app downloaded before you can edit the KWL. Now, if you're using a computer, that's not going to be an issue. Okay, this will automatically pop up. No big deal. Okay, all right. So why this can be tricky is you're going to see that I provided a template slide. Again, you don't have to use this slide. You can, but you don't have to. And one thing you need to know is this slide is meant to be copied for you to use. This is not the actual slide you're using. So slide 2 should always be the template. Everyone in the class is going to be adding a new slide and basically be typing their information in here. So if we don't all do this correctly, things can start being shifted around and we're going to get confused. Slide 1 should always remain slide 1, and slide 2 should always remain slide 2. And then below slide 2, we're adding an additional slide that's our own. Okay? So I'm suggesting, again, you can just simply add a slide, start typing KWL, and keep it moving. But you can also copy my template slide and write directly on that. For example, again, I'm on a tablet, but it's pretty similar on a PC. But I'm going to hold down slide 2. I'm going to hit the copy button. Then I'm going to click this blank space over here, and I'm going to paste. You're going to see a slide that looks just like the template added below the last slide, in this case slide 2. And now I'm going to say, oops, I'm going to go back. I'm going to call this my slide now, and it keeps deleting. But I'm going to type, there we go. I'm going to call this my slide now. So I'm going to type my name in there. And now I don't have to, let's say I'm not ready to do all of this, but I just want to have my own slide. That's great. Notice I didn't mess with the template slide. I just copied it. And now I have my own slide that I can write on. Okay? So, just one more time to go back. I'm going to hold down this. I'm going to copy. I'm going to, oops. See how, look what I just did. I moved it. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that, if at all possible, the template slide stays at number 2. So you may have to rearrange it if that happens. But, and then you would just paste if you need to. Add another slide. But, okay, for the sake of me getting out of here and moving on to the next item, I'm going to delete this slide. But you wouldn't. You would leave your slide there. And then all you're going to do is just type under the K column, the W column, and the L column, and keep it moving. Okay? Not that bad. All right. So back to the function graphs module. That's the KWL. We're going to move on to the functions performance task. This assignment is a group activity. This is a team activity. So this will be the first time I'm asking you to maybe go back to that peer information from the Getting Started module and find 3 or 4 people you may want to work with. Maybe you know some people in the course. Maybe you've
remember some of the students from some of your peers from the Q&A session we had. Maybe some of them you had classes together on campus, what have you. But just remember that it is going to be expected that you're working in a group. Shouldn't take you very long to get this done, which we'll go over in a minute. But it's a group activity. That's why it's a group activity, so it doesn't take you a long time. All right. So you can also use the coffee lounge as a place to say, hey, I'm looking for a group. Who wants to join? And then people can respond that way as well. So that's another way to get group members. Okay. So I'm going to actually start explaining this project. So there is a PDF and then there is a Word document, because some people may want to type directly in the document. Some people may want to print it out. Some people don't have Word. Some people only have Adobe. So I just post both. So, just to make sure we're good. Remember, this is a group activity. So all individuals in the group should be submitting this assignment individually. All names from the group, though, should be on the document that each person individually is submitting. So basically, this is a introduction to functions assignment, and you're going to be analyzing data, and you're going to be talking about, remember our function is, I'm going to kind of just give this to you so you have a little bit more understanding, is if you put something in, so you have an input, there's only one output, right? So if I put in money into a vending machine, I'm only going to get out whatever it is, whatever I punched, right? I'm only going to get out the soda I purchased. I'm only going to get out the Skittles I wanted. So for every input, there's only one output. So you're going to be looking at that kind of a thing throughout. You're going to talk about the data from fat and saturated fat, and you're going to kind of compare the differences. That is up here, fat, saturated fat. All that data is there, okay, already for you. You're just going to graph it. Talk about, is the graph a function? Okay, so you have to know what a function is mathematically. Describe it. Okay, there's some analysis questions. Then you're comparing calories and sodium, doing the same thing, graph analysis questions. There's really only two things that you're comparing, two parts, if you understand it that way. So it could be like you do part 1 and 2 as a group. There's 4 members, so maybe somebody does A, B, C, D, like each person does a different letter. Then you do part 2, and then people are maybe assigned the same letter, or people are assigned different letters. That's just kind of instantly what I am thinking about when I'm thinking about group work for this activity. Again, yes, it could be done individualized. I know this. This is the opportunity for you to collaborate with peers that you wouldn't normally get in the online setting. So I apologize up front now if you don't like group work and you find it challenging. But one of the things is like you're going to have to learn how to work with people. You're going to have to learn how to work with difficult people. And I apologize I'm adding to that, but I'm helping you work through those skills that you're going to need to do that. Not only that, but also obviously learning about functions. So again, trying to fill that gap between being in class and being online. So I apologize in advance if you don't like that aspect. Once again, I want to emphasize this assignment has value. This is not, again, busy work, because some people may say, well, he's giving us more assignments to do. I have all these lessons. I have these My Math Lab assignments. I have these tests, whatever. But be mindful, you are applying what you're learning in those modules to do this activity. You can't do this activity unless you know what a function is, unless you know how to describe functions. So you're going to need that information from those modules to do this. So this is just another way of me assessing your information that you're gaining from the module rather than just giving you a quiz or a test. Okay, so it's another option for you to show me that you've mastered the material. And, I'm trying to give you multiple means of assessments here. Okay, to prove that you understand the material. All right, so once you and your group have completed it, one thing to keep note of is there are graphs in there. This assignment has to be submitted in a typed up format, meaning that all your answers should be written, including your graphs. They should be still in a Word doc of some sort or on a PDF of some sort. And so you might actually, and I'm going to get back in there for a second, you may actually have to delete the graph that I gave you and insert your own graph. Maybe you use Desmos, maybe you use Wolfram Alpha or another graphing system, and then you insert your graph there. You may have to print this page out, draw your graph, delete this graph, and then take a picture of the graph you drew on, email it to yourself, and insert it into Word. Whatever the case may be, that you're only submitting one document, your graph needs to be in that one document. So you're going to have to figure out how to make it look pretty. Like, I don't want your document and then I don't want a separate picture of your graphs. Make sure that everything's in one page, everything's together. So everything's typed up with the exception the graphs can be hand-drawn. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Don't give me handwritten answers. Okay? So how you guys choose to communicate as a group is up to you. You can do a Skype chat, Google Hangout chat. You can meet face-to-face, whatever the case may be. Okay? But each person is going to be responsible for clicking this green link here and then submitting. You're not writing a submission. You are browsing your computer and attaching a file. Okay? So the file should either be a PDF or a Word doc. If you attach pages, like you have an Apple, you have a Mac, and you're attaching pages, it's not going to open for everybody. So please make sure that you are attaching a Word file or a PDF. And make sure every person in your group is, number one, has their name on the document, and everyone is submitting individually. Okay? The only thing I will say, you can write a submission, a text submission, in addition to uploading. In the event you need to tell me about someone in your group who was difficult to work with, and then I will begin to investigate that a little bit further. Obviously, if you're having some difficulties with individuals or members in your group, you're going to want to make sure that you reach out to me ahead of time, but feel free to also note that there, okay? So I'll say that again. If you're having difficulties with members of your group, contacting them, working with them, etc., please reach out to me in advance when that's happening. I will help you navigate the situation. And then as a reminder to me, you can write a submission telling me who it was, and I will be the only person that sees it. So I will not link this assignment submission with the rest of your group members. That's why I said everyone's going to give me an individualized submission, because I wanted to give you the option to write a text submission of any in particular individuals in your group that were challenging to work with, or any other tidbits that you may want me to know. Just know that when you write the submission, that's not your actual submission of your assignment. You're going to need to upload the PDF or the Word doc, okay? All right. So that is the performance task. The last thing to talk about is test 2. So test 2 is one of the 2 tests that you're going to be taking on campus at Towson University. So there are 2 dates that you can choose from. I'm going to show you them in a second, but you have to actually go to campus for this test. You will need to plan in advance when you're going and go. If you miss one of those 2 dates and you are not able to attend, you need to reach out to me in advance. Now, don't wait till the day of the last day to take the test and say, oh, I can't make it today. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I didn't see the due date, or whatever, you know. So make sure that you're following the timelines again and again. I keep saying that. You will not have an opportunity to make this up. You will not have an opportunity to redo this test. Make sure that if something comes up, though, like someone passes away or under extreme circumstances, documentation will be asked of you, and I will, I have a heart, I'll give you an exception. But just be mindful that no makeups, will be given if you just simply forgot to do it or you missed the deadline or what have you. This is something you're going to need to put in your schedule. All right, so it's the same format. Test 2 is the same format as Test 1, where there's a MyMathLab component and then there's a handwritten component. You would do both of them in the 2-hour period you're allotted on campus. So there's 2 dates, April 2nd, April 6th. One's a Tuesday evening, one's a Saturday afternoon. You can choose the day that works for you. It's all up to you. Okay? You just show up with your calculator and a pencil and be ready to go. All right? Just make sure you attend one of the 2 dates. Okay? All right. So As always, the Coffee Lounge link is up there in the corner for you. Please use it to collaborate with your group members, to make sure that if you have any additional questions about things that are happening in the course, you post them there for this module. And as always, I'm available by email, Skype, and phone should you have any questions or concerns. I look forward to reviewing your group learning tasks, performance tasks, KWLs, and to see everybody for their upcoming test too.